Yo, what is up, guys, and welcome back
sorry.
to a brand new league racing video. This is PSGL round number 10 around Brazil, and as you can see, we're in Q1 right now, heading for our first lap around Melbourne. It's been quite a while since I've done a league race around Melbourne, I think so. At least in PSGL, I think it might have been F1 2022. Might be wrong, but I think it is something like that. So it's a very, very long time ago. And yeah, since then the track has changed. So obviously we've got the new turn 6 that we're coming up to. And then we've just got a straight after this rather than the chicane we had before. You could see me shake my head there. Not happy so far with the lap. Last week we went out in Q1. We do not want that again, especially around Melbourne, where it's incredibly hard to overtake. Unfortunately, we have invalidated that chicane right there. That chicane is probably the most frustrating corner on the calendar, pretty much. And as you can see there, we're still leading the championship by 13 points to our teammate Freddie Rasmussen. And yeah, we had a really good run until Brazil. We still scored points, of course, with P8, but not ideal. But yeah, can't win them all. Can't always score good, especially on a grid like this, where it's incredibly close. Currently we're in P20, so we have to improve here if we want to make it into Q2. Or invalid lap that I decided to still finish was a 1:14.9, a little bit of a lockup there. 1:14.9, and we're gonna have to, I think, at least improve 3/10 if we want to make it into Q2 here. Ruben Pedrero currently P16. We're 1.7 tenths up, and Joris cruising now in P16 with a 42.986 split. So we're 2 tenths up on that, 2.5 tenths up on that actually. And unfortunately, again, we hit chicane wrong. Got a snap of oversteer, but at least it's not invalid this time. Yeah, Joris cruising P16 with a 1:14.651 from Julian Klaffenbach now. So we're going to have to improve at least 3/10. Into the second last corner we go now. And unfortunately, we got a big slide on the exit there. And that cost us
So many random slides, man.
at least 1/10. We are 4 tenths up pretty much. And that sees us go out in Q1 again. And it's frustrating around a track like Melbourne, which is a street track. Ruben Pedrero, Julian Klaffenbach, George Doe, and Jake Banham out in Q1 as well. I think the pace was there, but our setup was just too hard to drive. And I think it was a similar issue last week around Brazil. The setup was just both times a little bit random. It felt like the balance was really random. It's weird how it can go. You know, we were locking out front rows pretty much non-stop, or not non-stop, but I think we made it to Q3 every single race up until last week. And now twice in a row we go out in Q1. And it just shows you have to stay on your stuff. And on this level you cannot take it easy. Not that we necessarily have to, be honest, but it's just, one step in the wrong direction with the setup. You think you make it better, but then it isn't. And that's just how it goes. But P19, starting on the hards here around Melbourne, and this strategy shouldn't work. The hard compound is the best compound to be on.
8 hard runners in total.
We're using the C5, 4, and 3, which is almost as soft as possible. But the thing is, we're starting down in P19, and the only way we are even scoring points, we've got to do something abnormal. We got to do the opposite of what the rest of the grid is doing, and that's exactly what we're doing. As Joshua gets pushed wide a little bit there on the right-hander, and I think he might have wing damage as well on the front left, which is why Julian went so aggressive and actually bit of a traffic jam there in the second last corner. And as you can see there, Giorgio pulling off to the side because you can see his front left end plate is missing. And yeah, if you're down in P18, lap 1 around Melbourne with front wing damage, it's race over pretty much. And Josh knew that and decided not to take any risk with future penalties. There's no point to do anything crazy at that point. And now on to lap 17, a big jump as you can see there, but absolutely nothing happened. We just stayed in the same position the whole time. And yeah, I just decided to save tires and go long into this first stint. And then I felt like the only way we were gonna make some moves is by going crazy. And as you can see there, we're now up to P3, but obviously we still have to make a pit stop. Ismail Fassi in P5, only 6 seconds behind us, has made a pit stop already. As Julian ahead of me, struggling with his rear tires, sliding around a lot. His teammates Thomas Ronnaar in P1, 4.1 seconds ahead of us. But yeah, Julian really struggling. I decided to go for a move here and go for the overtake because yeah, didn't want to lose any more time. Even though we're going long, you can see with the DRS, quite an easy move. Up to P2 we go. And that DRS is so strong there. You can see we gained 3.4 seconds again now. So we gained like 7 tenths, 6 tenths to Thomas there. Obviously, he might have not used as much battery, but it's quite huge how much we gained there. And now we have to push flat out. I've been saving tires pretty much the whole time. And now we finally get some clear air for the first time in this race. And we're going to push flat out. Thomas ahead of us goes into the pits at the end of lap 18. And we're going to continue and go as long as we can in this stint. On the final corner we go. Julian and Ruben Pedreno boxing at the end of lap 19. But we, however, are going to continue once again. And we continue it even once more. End of lap 21, we're finally coming into the box. Ismail gained 2 seconds on us in the last 4 laps. Which is not too crazy, but obviously...
Right, coming out 2 to 3 seconds behind that kick car.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously... Ismail gained only 2 seconds, but the likes of Julian and Ruben, they were on new mediums. And even though they're not a great race tire, we're only doing 8 laps on them. And obviously the cars that are in front of the train are the ones that have made an undercut. We got the likes of Thomas, for example, who went for the overcut, lap 18, hard medium. And he's going to be trying to make as many overtakes as possible. And yeah, that's going to be costing people time, himself as well, of course. And that will slow them down. So obviously the strategy we're doing is not fast on paper, but it doesn't have to be fast on paper. We just want to be making overtakes here. That's the goal. And
1.2 seconds to this car out.
Yeah, 3.5 laps to go.
So
and up to
next stop, you have 2 lap offset over.
Up to P14 we go. So yeah, we've got to do more than an overtake per lap if we want to still get points here. That is assuming no penalties. So yeah, we've got Julian Klaverblock and Ruben Pedreno ahead. And that's going to be another overtake for us as Ruben gets forced into the gravel ahead of us. And that gives us P13. So now we have to overtake 1 car per lap to get 1 point. And yeah, that would already be a good race around Melbourne from P19. Trying to now get past Julian. He's going to be probably the hardest one to pass because he boxed only 2 laps before us. So relatively, he has the best tires from everyone that is ahead of us. So he's going to be the hardest. And now we go on the attack into turn number 3. We go down the inside. Now around the outside, which turns to the inside for the next left-hander. And up to P12 we go. Istvan Pukki next. Yeah, I think there's only 2 more cars ahead of us on the mediums. And then we've got Thomas Ronnaar, but he's probably going to be too far ahead for us to even catch up. So 2.5 laps to go. And now we're going to have to get past Istvan Pukki. It's only going to get easier and easier from here. If we can keep making moves steadily, the pace advantage we're going to have is going to be bigger and bigger. So this move is crucial on Istvan Pukki once again. And go down the inside, perhaps. He covers up the inside nicely. So we go for a switch back into the next right-hander.
Come on, man.
We've been running to the back. And that is race over for us. First time the season, we're not going to score points. Yeah, just an unfortunate incident. Of course, me and Istvan battling side by side. Slow down the cornering speed a little bit, and yeah, it just caught Julian off guard. Or off guard, I should say. And yeah, easy mistake to make. I think everyone in their career at some point has made a mistake. It is what it is. Nothing against Julian. It's part of racing sometimes, and of course, yeah, we had to overtake a lot of cars because we qualified down in P19, and then the chance of at some point getting into an incident is just higher. So it is what it is. Now on to WOR. The reason why I've put 2 league races in one video is because, as you can see in the last one, not much happened. We just drove in a train for 20 laps, then had to catch up for 6, and then there was 3 laps of racing, but we only did like 2 of them before we got spun around. So yeah, on to WOR, and yeah, put in a lot of effort again to fix our setup because we were just lacking qualifying pace, lacking consistency, and yeah, it's actually nice. WOR straight away the day after PSGL on the same track. And yeah, that felt like gave me a good chance to kind of get some redemption from PSGL. Because yeah, PSGL 2 times in a row now have been a complete disaster. We just not had the pace, not had the consistency, and we need to turn that around. So yeah, it's not just me. Freddie went out in Q2 in PSGL as well, which, yeah, if Freddie goes out at any point in qualifying, it just means he either made a rare mistake or the pace just wasn't there. I think we just didn't quite have the pace around quali. So yeah, a lot of effort put in for this one. We only had a day to completely change the setup around. But as you can see there, half a second faster than our banker yesterday, and that puts us into Q2 with a single lap. And even though the cutoff time is faster than in PSGL, we make it through this time. In P6 on a single set of tires, crucial, because now we have got 2 sets of tires for Q3, of course. On to Q2 then. This is used tires, and up to P2 we go again. And yeah, pace seems to be there at the moment. Only P4 in our first new tire in Q2, but that's not much in an issue because we're going to get another chance with another set of tires, and then we still got 2 new sets left for Q3, of course. But this one, I think we do have to improve, so the pressure is on. P5 in Q2 going into the last run is always a tricky one. P4, P5 might be on the edge. So we're going to have to improve at least a little bit here if we want to make it into Q3. At least that was my feeling going into this lap. Again, you can see how unstable the rear end is. It is slightly better. The issue we were just having in PSGL is that the balance was shifting from corner to corner so badly. And sometimes we had heaps of understeer, 1 lap in a corner, and then the lap after it was a lot of oversteer, and that just makes it so hard to push on the limit. And on a track like Melbourne, that's just not very forgiving. And yeah, you can see that we lost a lot of time in the chicane, around a 10th probably, maybe more than a 10th compared to a perfect chicane. And it is so frustrating. I can't imagine being a casual in this game and having to do that corner, because I think it would be nearly impossible to stay on track through there. But yeah, I'm not a casual. I can't tell for the casuals, but yeah, just for us to just take it normal and save, it's not possible. Because yeah, the curb strikes are just very weird. So you could do it flat out and stay on track, and you hit the curb wrong, and you lose 2 tenths. It's just how it is. But we make it through by only 4 hundredths. So yeah, on to Q3. And the gap to P1 was only 1/10. Again, it shows how close it is. And if you're not quite comfortable, that's going to be costing you dearly. First one in Q3. P2, again, 1.1 tenths behind Ismail Fassi. So we're going to have to improve at least by 1.1 tenths if we want to get pole position. We're aiming for more. Of course, pole position in PSGL was a 113.91, which means we have to improve by exactly 2 tenths, if my mind serves me correct. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't even know anymore. But we have to improve by 1.1 tenths at the moment. Ideally by more. So let's see how the first sector is. We are 1.1 tenths up on Ismail Fassi. That was a great first sector from us. Sector 2 might have lost 1/200ths to our previous lap. But that's only one corner, of course. So that's might be okay. 9.5 hundredths up as we go into the final sector. Let's see how we get the chicane. And that was relatively good. 1.3 tenths up as we head into the final few corners of the track. P2 at the moment on 114.095. No one has improved on pole position yet. So at the moment, this is good enough for pole position. Unfortunately, Ismail Fassi improved by another 1.5 tenths. And this is only going to be good enough for P2. 114.007. 1.2 tenths away from Ismail Fassi. I think our lap would have been good enough for P4 in PSGL. So we're not quite there yet, pace-wise, but it's a lot closer at least. You can see the main time was there.
We almost
the final
hit that
sector.
target, but I guess I'll take a podium. Well done.
If we got the same final sector as Ismail there, then we would have gotten pole. But yeah, the final sector is also probably the hardest one, and is the one with the most corners in it. So
This is the last sector.
yeah, you can hear me say that. Just the last sector. We were faster in the first sector, and 5,000s down in the middle. But yeah, a lot better than PSGL at least. So onto the race we go. This time we're not starting on the hards. This time we're going for a bit more of a boring strategy, medium hards. Yeah, it's the same reason as I said in PSGL. It's just nearly impossible to overtake, so there's no point. There's no incentive for us to do hard medium because the chances we would make the positions back are very small, and it would take a lot of risk overtaking around here. But lights out, and away we go. We get a better start than Ismail Fassi off the line, and straight away into turn 1. We're actually ghosting somehow. I'm not sure why that happened, but I decided not to take advantage of it and not risk running Ismail off the road in turn 1 as well. So up to P1 we go in turn number 3. And honestly, it didn't matter too much if we got P1 or P2 from the start. We just, yeah, had to play it safe, not get into any incidents, not fall down to P3. We want to be P1 or P2. It's basically the same position until you drive into the pits. So Ismail knew that as well. We gave each other loads of space in turn 1 because it's just not worth it. It's not worth taking any risk in turn 1 because we're pretty much going to be in the same position anyway. In the next 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 laps of this race, Ismail will be able to overtake whenever he wants because, yeah, we're not going to be draining our entire battery to keep him behind. If we do, eventually he'll get past anyway because he has DRS. So, yeah, it's if you're in P1 and P2, he just has to protect it. As simple as that. And you can straight away see it. Ismail already 8 tenths behind at the end of lap 1 there. He's just leaving a gap. Give himself some space. Now in lap 7 he's getting past. And yeah, just giving himself space. The issue as well is the difference in driving skill is so small that I won't suddenly be able to put 4 tenths on him in a couple of corners, so breaking the DRS is going to be quite hard. But now in lap 9, pit window has opened. Some cars have boxed, and I want to box at the end of lap 9 here as well. And that means we want to get back into P1 just to make sure that we come out either in P1 or P2 if we get undercut. So we're really pressurizing Ismail. Here we go down the inside, but that would have been a suicidal move if we went for the gap there. That would have not worked. But now, actually Ismail was recharging his battery. We go on the attack into the next right and around the outside. Ismail leaves us a hair of track width to use on the exit, and up to P1 we go again. And now we're going to be boxing to cover off any undercutters from behind. And Istvan Kuki behind us driving into the pits as well. And yeah, as you can see there, he got a 10-second speeding in the pits penalty. And yeah, that's not going to be able to get removed. Speeding in the pits is a slam dunk. As I said before, 10 seconds is incredibly hard at the level we are driving. Because if you win the race by 4 seconds or 5 seconds, you will still drop down to P10 most likely, or P11. So, yeah, his race is pretty much over. But I guess he still wants to do well and try to win the race on track at least. We got a teammate Kian Goedendorp in, P3 of this train. We're not sure how this is all going to pan out. So, yeah, 8-second gap to Diogo Jorge. Now, we don't really want to catch up to that. All we want to do is get an undercut, or protect ourselves from an undercut, and then basically have the 2 cars behind us undercut the cars that are boxing this lap. So the likes of Ismail Fassi and Julian Klaffenbach. So that we've got the same age tires behind us. And yeah, that just makes it easier for us until the end of this race. But yeah, as you can see, as we exit out of the final 2 corners, the gap behind is over 8 tenths. And I could already feel it coming that because of that, they're not going to get the undercut. And now we've got Ismail Fassi behind us.
What's going on in Istvan's head? Why are we leaving an 8-10 gap?
And now we got Ismail right behind us on 1 lap fresher tires. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but we are driving with the softest compounds available. And we boxed incredibly early for the hard tires. And pace-wise, that 1 lap difference might be huge in the end. So, yeah, really had been saving tires pretty much in wall stint. Ismail was doing the same because, again, there's no point in swapping around positions and fighting for P1 when it's only going to come down to the last lap anyway. And now, lap 26, Ismail is going for it around the outside of us. I decided not to fight this yet because I kind of felt like I had to keep saving tires until like the last 2 laps. As insane as it might sound, I felt like the only chance we were going to win this is to keep saving and then only really have a go in the final lap. And as you can see down there, we're just at the personal best in lap 27 of this race and in lap 18 of this stint on tires. So yeah, we've really just been cruising around pretty much this whole stint. And now we have to go for a move. And you can see each one boxed on the same lap as us. He's 9 tenths behind and nearly getting dropped out of DRS. And it just shows that the tires from the front runners are pretty much gone. So yeah. Again, I was trying to perhaps go for a move here already, but we just couldn't follow close enough to Ismail in the corners. So yeah, once again, we had to sit back and save some battery for the last lap and then fully go for it. But of course, Ismail is going to be doing the same, trying to get the traction down. Into the final 3 corners we go. You can see Istvan 8.5 tenths back. His tires, I think, are completely gone at this point. Ours are pretty much as well, but we've just been saving the whole time until basically the last few laps. Again, we set a personal best, even though the tires are completely cooked. And through turn 1, you can see the rear tires are struggling so much at this point. But I knew it was now or never. Full send. And we have to get as close as possible to the next few corners if we want to have a chance. To the next lap we go. I'm basically not even steering in the corners. That's how much the rear tires are gone. And we're 5 tenths back as we head into the next right-hander. We've gone a little bit wide again, a snap of oversteer. And we're gonna get DRS 4.8 tenths back. Battery is being deployed, but we're not gonna be close enough into the chicane. So I'm gonna recharge the battery and go for it on the next DRS zone, but again struggling with dirty air. And unfortunately, I'm just going to be too far back, too short of a straight to really go for it. Having a little look down the inside, but yeah, braking zone is not long enough to go for a big send. And if I would have actually gone for it, then I think we both would have not made a corner. Yeah, rear tire is completely gone here in the final 2 corners. It's just that one lap.
Yeah, that one lap. Tire advantage fucked me.
Was just too much. We set a personal best again. So yeah, really tried it. There was even some DRS breaks behind us from P3 to P4, for example, P5 to P6, and it's just because people run out of tires in the end. We kind of had the same. It was just Ismail who managed to keep his tires alive really until the last lap. That was crucial. Which is difficult when you have to, you know, keep cars behind, not make sure you get double overtaken when you're in P1, for example. So yeah, wasn't easy. Ismail has won like the last 3 competitive races on the F1 game around Melbourne. So clearly he has found his way around here. F1 Esports last year, PSGL on Wednesday, and now WOR on Thursday. So seems to have found his way. But at least we've managed to make a huge step from PSGL, and that is probably the most important. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Ciao.